Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of this podcast. We don't know what to call it. We were thinking of calling it J&J, but then again, because Johnson & Johnson exists, we don't want a cease and desist letter. What's up, man? How you been?
I've been doing good, man. Just a lot of events happening all over the world, non-stop. Just a crazy world nowadays, man.
The only world that I know is America, okay? And because we're in America, and UFC's in America, let's talk about what's happening with the UFC tonight. February 11th, Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam. Last name I'm not able to pronounce at the moment. I don't know if you follow UFC that much. Do you?
Not really. I'm more of a following local dojos type of guy.
Nah, it's cool. No, basically, Alexander Volkanovski is the real deal, but this is a big test for him now because Islam. I don't know if you know this. Everybody knows who Khabib Nurmagomedov is, right?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
It's the guy who jumped into the crowd and fought everybody, right? Well, Islam has been trained by Khabib. Not only that, but most of the people that Khabib seems to be training, they're animals, man. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Who was the other guy?
Actually, now that you mentioned that, I've seen saw like this. It wasn't a documentary, but it was like one of those shorts in YouTube. And they were mentioning, the dojo that they actually train in, they take it very, very serious. They don't do any drugs. They just, very strict, very disciplined.
They're Islamic, those guys, so they probably don't even drink.
Probably not. Man.
No, man.
It's crazy.
And I don't know what it is about those Dagestani people, bro, but they live this UFC type of stuff. Not even UFC, they live just this fighting type of stuff. I knew a guy, he was Russian. I think he called them Chechens. I don't know what the cultural... Sorry if I offended anybody. Especially you Dagestani people. No offense at all. But he said that those guys take things seriously. Like, if you insult them, you gotta pay with your life. Like, they're gonna come after you.
Wow.
But, yeah, so apparently it's a big fight for Alexander Volkanovski. Even though he's coming in as a champ and Islam is coming in, I think Islam might be the favorite still.
Really?
Despite Alexander coming in as a champ, who's had like really good fights and really good defenses, Islam is the guy coming in, and people I think suspect that he's gonna win because he's one of Khabib's people. So I want Alexander Volkanovski to win because obviously I like that guy's work ethic. I like how he, he's a small guy. He's built like a tank. He's like he's like 5'6", 5'7", but he's built like a tank. He's freaking tough.
I heard he hits pretty hard too,
dude.
Man.
I don't know if you watched the Brian Ortega fight versus Volkanovski, but Brian Ortega had him. He had him like in some kind of clinch hold that it was pretty much over.
Yeah.
This dude got out, and Alexander Volkanovski was actually winning the fight for most of the time. But what happened is Ortega, I think he caught him with a left or a right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dropped Volkanovski, immediately jumped on top of Volkanovski and caught him like in a. He caught him like an, I don't know what you guys UFC fighter call it, but he caught him in some kind of lock.
Yeah.
And it should have been over. This guy Volkanovski got out, so he can come to that fight with that same level of heart, knowing that despite the fact that he's a champ, that people still call him an underdog because these Dagestani people, man, they're animals. They're like Saiyans. Remember Dragon Ball Z?
Yep.
So they're like Saiyans, bro.
It's crazy that you say that because actually when I was looking at that short YouTube video, they actually mentioned that they're kind of trained not to give up. So it's like they some of them like don't even tap out. Like they practice, they spar, and they just like literally go to the end.
Yeah.
And they just get knocked out, and they're like, okay, they just wake up eventually, and they're like, okay, let's go for round 2. Like, what the hell?
I don't know what Volkanovski's training camp was, but from the very little, I'm a UFC casual fan. So before anybody goes in like, you don't know nothing about UFC. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? I pay for the pay-per-view, so I have the right to give opinions on it.
Yes.
Right? Can't remember the last time I paid for a pay-per-view, but I would. Anyways, if Alexander tries to go wrestling with Islam, he might have a hard time. If I was him, I would just stay to striking. But that's just my opinion. What else we got going on tomorrow? Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Who do you think is going to win?
I think the Eagles are going to win, man.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. For no reason. I just.
Well, you same here, man. I just think so because I'm from the East Coast, so
Oh yeah, I picked it out of a hat. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's like 26. Dude is on top of the world in the football game, so good for him, man.
Good for him.
Good for him, dude. So, other than that, man, what's up, man? What's going on?
I don't know, man. You know, it's been a while that I don't play video games, but did you hear about the Harry Potter video game?
Yeah, I think. Actually, yes. Yeah, I did. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Freaking yeah. So from what I understand, for some of the people who don't know, the Harry Potter game apparently was huge. It was a huge launch. It was like one of the biggest launch titles. I don't know if that was expected, but a lot of people in the LGBT community are having an issue with it because the creator of Harry Potter, what's her name, J.K. Rowling, she made some comments that they found offensive, and I quote, I think something along the lines of trans women are like not real women, or something in Twitter that she put that they found offensive. Now, whether you agree with that comment or not, my understanding is that not the J.K. Rowling, but the Harry Potter video game, it was far removed from J.K. Rowling, meaning she didn't have anything to do with it.
So you're telling me, I don't get it. So they're upset even though it has nothing to do with the actual author of.
They want to boycott They want to boycott the game because the creator of the property of Harry Potter said something that they didn't like. Now the studios who created the game supposedly had nothing to do with J.K. Rowling, not in a bad way, but she wasn't involved in the creation of the game at all. So, folks, just because somebody says something that they don't like, you can't expect people to not enjoy some of the intellectual properties that they created, right? If we're gonna go down the route of, oh, you can't enjoy this because the person who made it or the person who inspired it did something that a particular group of people didn't like, and if you buy that or you purchase that or you enjoy that, you're part of the problem too. Well, the problem with that is, how far do you want to take that? How far do you want to take that? If you buy an iPhone, if you buy the iPhone, you're encouraging people to continue to use slave labor in Africa so the black African indigenous people can keep under horrific conditions, can keep mining cobalt so that you can make iPhones that I can then use to ask for boycotts for things that I particularly found, that are convenient for me, right? How far do you want to take that, guys?
Now that you say that, man, you could take it pretty far, man.
You could take it
as far down as food. Like there's a child labor for food, for clothing in other countries. I mean,
and look, I'll level with you. There are some things that I myself boycott because I don't agree with how they got it or how they get it. But I'm not gonna look at somebody and say, "You shop here, you do this. I can't be friends with you." Come on, man. That's not fair, and that's not right. The most you could do, I can tell you, hey, dude, listen. An example: I don't shop at ABC Clothing. And you'll say, why? I like ABC Clothing. I don't like it because, they incited a civil war and killed millions of people. Right? That's it. I tell you why I don't shop there. I would even go as far as tell you, I don't think you should shop there, dude. I feel like it'll be indirectly contributing to that. But we're still going to be friends.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, the situation with, remember Balenciaga? What happened with their brand?
Yes. Now, with that being said, though, I do draw the line at children. Yeah. I do draw the line at children. You can't depict some disgusting. The harm on children and us standing against that, I do like to believe is pretty universal.
Yeah.
Children are defenseless. All right, children, nobody can stand up for them. LGBT people, for the most part, adults, children, they have a group at least that kind of stands up for them and protects them. We have to do the same for children in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. So there are situations where it is okay to actually associate yourself with certain brands worldwide, no matter what the situation.
Yeah. But if I see you with a Balenciaga shirt, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but if I see you with a Balenciaga shirt, I'll be like, damn, dude, I wouldn't buy that if I were you, because the children, they were depicting children in a grotesque way, and I think we gotta draw the line on children. That's a personal issue to me. But if you don't want to do that, all right, I'm not gonna think you're in the parties with them doing disgusting things.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Harry Potter is, and I'm seeing people saying that they don't want to, that if you like the Harry Potter game, to unfriend them. I'm not your friend if you play this Harry Potter game because, bro, come on, man. Let them enjoy something. And another thing. How do you know if the person found Harry Potter in a difficult moment in their lives? I didn't know if that difficult moment, right, finding Harry Potter saved them or helped them become better people. How do you know that person maybe didn't like the LGBTQ people in the beginning, but something within the Harry Potter story incited something in them that said, you know what? I remember something similar to this happened in Harry Potter, and as a result, I'm going to be an ally to the LGBTQ, right? I've never read the Harry Potter books, but what I'm saying is to discount people's life experience because they enjoy something, just because you find it offensive, now you want to label them the enemy, it's wrong. It's wrong. You know? It's wrong. A lot of you still listen to music that was produced by people who are known, how do I say it, assaulters of females. Produce music and you still bump to them. You still listen to that music. A lot of you people still watch movies produced by Harvey Weinstein. How far do you want to take that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I gonna stop being your friend because you enjoy something? Am I gonna assume that you like and agree with what Harvey Weinstein did because you enjoy the movies that his studios produce? No, because I'm not a moron.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going to school and, you know, like, Harry Potter was a big thing. Most people just like the whole series. It's, you know, it's fantasy. It's
yeah, man.
But taking it to that route, man. You know, talking about schools. Did you hear about that fight that happened in Georgia?
I find that funny for two reasons. Well, the first one is not funny, and I can go on days for days. Like, what would you hear? I did hear about that, right? Like I think what was it? One of the students beat up the teachers.
Yeah, man.
Or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, like anything else, you only get the video recording when they're about to pop off. But something the student said, "Get out of my face! Don't talk to me!" Blah blah. And then she just started fighting the teacher. Now, folks, I just finished saying that I'm against violence against children. But if that teacher would have popped that kid, right, in self-defense, not for no reason, would the teacher be wrong? I'm not even gonna let you answer that. I let the audience at home decide. We're not gonna answer that. I'm asking a question. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I mean, like,
you had a kid. You found out the kid fought a teacher, or was mouthing off to a teacher. What would you do?
Well, I would like to, you know, first I would ask, you know, my child what he was doing, right? Give him the benefit of the doubt. But the way I was raised, man, like, you respect the teacher.
Bro, the way I was raised, if the teacher said you did something, you did something.
Yeah.
And you're going to get hurt. And your parents are going to go to school and beat you. Like, there's no questions asked. You know what I mean? The whole thing. And not to mention, if I had a kid, I would be involved in my child's life. Every month or so, go to the school. Hey, how's little so-and-so doing? He's good? She's good? Whatever the case is. Oh, she's struggling with this? Okay, cool. Oh, she said what? Call him up here. What'd you say to the teacher? And then I'll pop him right there in front of the teacher. And then I'm going to pop you when we get home again. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, and I'm going to let the kid know, like, yo, you are an extension of your family. I cannot allow you to go to school and act in a way that you wouldn't act at home. In a way that you know we wouldn't encourage it at home. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me find out you're fighting a teacher. You're fighting me next, championship bout. You want to talk about Volkanovski versus Islam? You know?
Yeah, it's really tough being a teacher nowadays. Their rights. Well, first of all, they're not getting paid as much.
Yeah.
A lot of programs are being defunded, and it's a really tough situation when you're limited to what you can do.
Not only that, but then the parents are not involved. So the thing about school systems, and I can go on for days about this, but the thing about the school system is that it's no longer a place of learning in most areas now in the United States, and most, I want to say urban areas, but I don't really even know that for sure. It's a place. It's like a glorified babysitter now.
Yeah. It's
like a place where the kids go to give the parents a break. The parent, because most of the time, some of these kids come from single parents, right? It's a place where they give their parent a rest, and then they give the kids who want to learn a hard time, and the teachers who want to learn a hard time. You know? I don't know who would want to become a teacher in this day and age. The pay's not good. You don't get backup. You don't get support from the parents. You don't get support from the administrators. Right? So what are you supposed to do? And then on top of that, people have the audacity to be like, oh, we need to raise the students' test scores. What can we do to make them better? But nobody wants to address the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to say, hey, these kids, are their parents involved in their academic career? There's only so much a teacher can do, right? Let me ask you a question. If you go to the gym to get in shape, you're in the gym for 1 hour, you get a trainer. Okay? The trainer says, do this, do this, do this. For homework, okay, eat a salad. But you go home and you don't eat a salad. You eat whatever you want to eat, right? Then you go to the gym again for months. You're not seeing any results. Or you're not seeing the results you should be seeing, right? Nobody's going to blame the trainer. Very few people are going to blame the trainer, especially if the trainer looks jacked. Everybody's going to say, hey, look, well, maybe you should eat a salad. The teaching profession is the only place that I've seen so far that the professionals, the teachers, get no support from anybody. They're not even allowed to write stuff off from their taxes as much as past $400 or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're underfunded. They get no support from the administration. They get no support from the parents. And then they got to put up with kids that parents couldn't be bothered to raise properly. And then they get upset when the students' test scores are mad low. I don't know if you heard, but I think Baltimore, 24 schools have kids who could do math at grade level at 0%.
Wow.
0%, dude. Is that the teacher's fault?
America.
All the teachers in all 24 schools are at fault here? Or is there something bigger going on? Nobody wants to address that. You know why? Because nobody wants to look at the parents in the eye and say, yo, we did our jobs. Do yours, yo. Do yours. And I would set up a new rule if I was the administration. I'd be like, anybody who touches a teacher, teachers, you're expelled. And on top of that, I would lobby in my local government or even in Washington to make teachers federally protected in the sense that if the student touches the teachers, the parents got to be held accountable for it too.
Yeah, I agree.
Get out of school and the parents get fined and they get held accountable. I'm sorry, bro. You're not gonna send your kid to assault somebody. What sense does that make?
It's crazy times, man. Crazy times.
And then two kids were fighting each other, or were trying to fight each other in the hallway, and a coach tried to break them up. He was holding both of them back. There was no other parent in sight. He was holding both of them back. Hey, stop it, knock it off. Wasn't helping. There was two high school kids versus a coach. You know what I mean? He was trying to hold them back from fighting each other. And what happens? The directing coach, I think, showed up. He grabbed one of the students and he slammed him, knocked him unconscious. 15 seconds.
Yo.
Knocked him unconscious. Alright? Now I don't agree with that. But is that coach going around slamming people? He's not. What was the reason? And then people said, well, he got fired, which I think was messed up. There should have been an investigation and somebody should have asked, Coach so-and-so who slammed student A, well, what's Coach's so-and-so's track record? Is he going around slamming kids? Is this his third warning? Is this his final warning? You know what I mean? Has he been, so he hasn't been in trouble. A lot of the kids actually like him. And the kid that he slammed, was this an honor roll student that he slammed? Was this a student who was always participating in extracurricular activities? Always staying out of trouble? How are those kids crazy? How does that kid behave? I'm not justifying it, but to fire the teacher to make it seem like there's a mad teacher on the loose going around slamming honor roll students, that's what they're trying to make it seem, it's also wrong. It's also wrong. And then the mom was like, well, he shouldn't have done that. Well, you should have done your job as a parent, right? Everybody wants to get upset at the coach, but then if I ask where's the kid's father, all of a sudden everybody gets offended.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Nowadays, you have to watch what you say, watch what you do. People are very sensitive, and it's making society overall weak.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I saw a coach smack a student once for no reason.
What?
He didn't get fired though, and the student went out and won his match. So now what?
Wow.
Nah, I don't condone that type of behavior, but after a certain amount of time, these teachers, I don't know who wants to get a teacher nowadays. The pay's not good, and it's one thing if the pay's not good, but at some point the job is not even gonna feel rewarding anymore. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, thank God for my teachers. When I was growing up, those teachers who looked at us and says, "Hey guys, you're gonna do good when you get older," because believe it or not, some of these students, they don't really hear affirmative words or words of affirmation until they actually get to school, until they actually talk to some of these teachers. Some of these kids have a difficult home life, and the only time they hear "good job," "way to go," "proud of you," is from the teachers. That's all they have sometimes. And if we don't protect those teachers, by extension, we're kind of dooming the kids as well, or at least the kids who want to learn.
Yeah,
You know?
That's true. Yep.
And then there's the administration. I've have multiple times thought about even going to like administration meetings and just calling them out. And then looking at them like, I'm not a teacher, I don't work here, there's nothing you could do about it.
How do you think we got to this point where teachers are not respected, they're underpaid, and it's no longer rewarding being a teacher for the most part?
Well, look, I think, and it's not that I agree with it, I think teachers can deal with being underpaid. And when I say can deal with it, I don't mean like deal with it, I mean like they can tolerate it, right? I think they're having a difficult time tolerating being underpaid, which they should be paid way more in my opinion, right? Definitely. Not having support of the administration, okay? Not being able to teach students because the students just are disrespectful, and not getting support from their parents. Yo, so you're going into a war zone, no help at all, and then it's time to, I think to answer your question, it starts at home, man. As much as people don't want to believe it, it starts at home. And people will say, well, the kids, the schools don't have enough resources. Let me tell you why I don't believe that. When I was in elementary school, in a very, very, I don't want to say impoverished city, but in a city that wasn't rich, the kids who always did the best, I'm talking about A students, were the kids who had two family households. And if they didn't have two family households, the parent or parents were at least involved in this kid's academic career, so much so that the kid was doing good. There was involvement from the parents. So now, the teachers knew, hey, if this kid acts up, the parent has my back. And if this kid acts up, I have direct communication to the parent, and the parent will come to school, and the parent will straighten the kid out. Now, not only can I teach the class, I can teach the student. I can teach the student, and the student knows like, yo, kid, we love you, but we're not gonna tolerate it here or at home. That's no longer the case anymore. Parents only want to be involved in the kids' lives if it's time to yell at the teachers.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think the root of the problem is the parents. They no longer want accountability, no responsibility of the bad behavior of their children. I agree, 100%.
I think so too. Like, and I try to think like if I had a kid, right, and I find out that the kid is not doing good in school, I will sit down with the kid, and I'm out here talking like kids have like super common sense and stuff when they're young. But like, look, I need you to do good. I'm gonna pay for a tutor. You get involved in the kids' lives. Then you set up meetings every 2 weeks with the teachers. Hey, how's the kid doing? How are they behaving? They're behaving good? Okay, good, fantastic. Let the kid know, I'm gonna support you, but I'm not gonna tolerate behavior or disrespect towards me or the teachers. So I hope that teacher lands on his feet. Though I don't know how well you can land on your feet after you slam somebody, especially a student.
Yeah.
But like, what do you want the teachers to do? Well, if they punch you in the face, duck. All right.
I mean, it makes me wonder how do they do things in China? You think?
They don't tolerate that in China.
Yeah.
They don't tolerate that in China. I don't know how they do it, but I would bet that if the student misbehaves and brings dishonor to the family, you know what I mean? So, I'm sure the teachers beat up the students and the parents.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know, man. I don't know who would want to become a teacher this day and age. Imagine you get your master's degree in teaching and then to go to a school and just fight for your life.
Yeah. Because
a student, you know what I mean? Like I saw some teachers swing at a student once. Not in real life, but student was like it's on YouTube. I think the student is in like a music class, and the kid starts mouthing off to the teacher, and the teacher like just mouthing off to him, and like do something. The kid couldn't have been more than 110 pounds. And the teacher did something. And then they squared up and they started scrapping.
Wow.
Yeah. And the teacher got a GoFundMe page started, and they seemed like they took care of him for a little bit. But at some point, somebody has to understand, yo, I didn't become a professional to get disrespected by 14-year-olds.
Yeah, it's just there's also like it goes in hand with social media as well. Like
yeah,
now that we mentioned China, like the whole TikTok situation.
Yeah, what do you think about that, yo?
It seems like they have their own agenda, and it's crazy, man. They only display certain content to Americans. Over there, it's kind of banned, man. I mean, they have the Great Firewall, the Great China Firewall. When you say it's banned,
I thought it wasn't banned. I just thought the algorithm was like.
Yeah, it is the algorithm.
Oh, okay.
So it caters to certain content for the Chinese versus the Americans, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because they try to disassociate themselves from the parent company. I think it's ByteDance or BitDance, something like that. That's the parent company of TikTok. And so right now it's based off of China, but they kind of say, no, we're not messing with the algorithm or any of that stuff. But I don't know, man.
No, yeah, they definitely got it. They can't say they're not messing with the algorithms. If like you're in China and you teach your kids about engineering, about this and about that, well, that's cool. Like that encourages the next generation. Like that finds students. Like social media hijacks people's attention, right? But if you make it so that if you filter it so that only certain things will catch, would that they can focus on, like education and engineering and programming, well, that's what they're gonna focus on. In America, it's not the case from what it looks like, and I think all social media should be banned. To be honest, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan, but I think social media has done more harm than good, because it has done some good, right? But at the same time, it's like, look at like for example TikTok, the stuff that some of the kids see on TikTok in America, you know what I mean? Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, man, all that stuff. The cyberbullying that occurs, and people will be like, "Well, just turn your computer off. That's it." Well, then what you do is self-cancel yourself.
Yeah.
We fight so much against cancel culture, and we say, "Hey, people shouldn't get canceled," and whatever the case is. But when you tell people like, "Well, just disconnect. Don't go online anymore." You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're encouraging them to self-cancel themselves. And it's like, something does have to be done. I do think cyberbullying is bad, and people should stop doing that, and that's what they should crack down on. But overall, I think social media is not good, and I think it should be banned, especially TikTok. I think TikTok should be banned in the United States.
Yeah, I agree.
It's spyware as far as I'm concerned.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's poisoning our minds, man. It's displaying content that's not productive for us, man. It's just making us lazy, unproductive, and kind of like distracting us on what's going on, even geopolitical wise as well. So yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think Facebook should be gone too, and Instagram, definitely Twitter. It's just, it's one of those things. Imagine if we would have gotten fired as a species, and we didn't know how to handle it properly, right? And we would constantly be burning ourselves. Right? I feel like we're at that phase of social media where we got what feels like the equivalent of nuclear weapons, right? But for a social nuclear weapon, social media, right? A social nuclear weapon, we don't know how to handle it responsibly, and as a result, it's tearing our society apart. In my opinion, right?
And then with the whole thing of AI, what do you think about the whole situation with AI? How it's being used in it's being used almost everywhere now. Generating a lot of plagiarism. Well, not even plagiarism, because it actually creates original content. You know what's the crazy thing about it's called OpenGPT? No, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, ChatGPT. A lot of students are using ChatGPT.
I heard.
So teachers are now requiring students, rather than writing their paper at home, they're requiring them to actually write it on site in school.
Good.
Or also another thing that students are doing, which is kind of crazy, is that they're using, I think, like once they put it in ChatGPT, there's actually the actual software that detects if it's actual AI. So what they're doing is that they're paraphrasing it with, I think it's called Quill something. It's like a software that paraphrases like text.
The students?
Yeah, so the students they're getting pretty smart, man, with that stuff. But it seems like we're becoming, well, at least the newer generation, they're becoming dependent on machines, on AI.
And not in a good way either, because from what I'm reading or what I read, the next generation coming after us, they don't really know how to use a computer. They were raised with technology, don't know how to use it. Don't know how to use it in a practical sense. Yeah. Like, they can upload videos and they could, like, check the algorithm.
Like, they don't understand the technology behind it.
Ask them where the C drive is, they wouldn't know. Ask them to go into the directory of your Android phone, your Apple phone, they wouldn't know. Ask them what an IP address is, they would not know.
Because everything's automated.
Everything is automated, or everything is so easy for them that they just gotta click a button. They don't have to worry about the stuff behind it.
Yeah, if something breaks, someone else handles it.
Bro, you remember how when we were younger, learning how to use Word and Excel was like...
Yeah.
Like, oh, good for you. What, you want, a cookie?
Yeah.
People don't know how to use Excel or Word like that. Like,
that's crazy.
I'm not saying they can't learn it, but I'm saying that things that used to come pre-installed in young adults,
yeah,
now have to become you have to teach them again.
So,
You know?
do you think we're gonna get to a point where humans are gonna be integrated with machines? And...
That's the next episode, but I would like to talk about that because look, no, there's this thing called transhumanism.
Oh wow!
I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
But
it's like a theory, or
it's a theory / philosophy / prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, people, no, we're not teachers. We're having a good time and we're letting you into our conversation.
There's gonna be someone out there like, oh, you're not an expert on this.
You don't know what. Where did you get your machine learning? Like,
where's your references?
Mm.
Oh man.
We want to start a podcast for a long time to talk about stuff, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully with better sound in the future. But the thing about transhumanism and excuse me. The thing about transhumanism is that the idea of transhumanism is that people will slowly merge into machines. Not one day to the next, but it's kind of happening now if you kind of think about it. This is Elon Musk's idea, so this is his thing. It's not mine. Wearables are part of that. You have Bluetooth headphones. You have Bluetooth watches. If Google Glass would have caught on, it would have been that. Google Glass didn't catch on because people didn't like it. Google Glass didn't catch on because there was some ethical stuff going on.
Yeah, there was some privacy issues.
Going
on.
But people are all too open to just give away their data and to adopt new technologies. So I think that's the way it's going. I'm kind of looking into moving into like a farm if I could, bro, into the woods or something. I don't really want to be part of a society where you have like humans that merged into technology. I like technology for what it's done for humanity, but there's commercial technology and then there's enterprise level technology. And the commercial technology is really what's hurting humans. And I think we will. And then with the Elon Musk company Neuralink, bro, I think it's gonna happen.
I think they were trying to do some human trials early on the year. They mentioned it. There was like some unethical. I think they actually tried shutting down his operations because you saw the video with the chimpanzee, right, when it was playing ping pong.
Yeah.
And there was like this whole movement of it was unethical, like the chimpanzee doesn't know what's going on, and you're kind of like abusing the chimpanzee by testing on its brain, putting an actual neural chip in there.
The thing is, right? It does have practical, useful, helpful, life-changing applications. Imagine somebody who can't like move,
paralyzed.
But now because of the Neuralink, they're allowed to move. Imagine if Elon Musk, right, somehow was able to get his Tesla robot, right, link it with somebody with Neuralinks, and now a person in the house has a servant that they can control. You want water? You use the robot, get you water. You know what I mean? There are useful applications for it, and to say otherwise, it's just.
I could already imagine like what would happen if someone that has bad intentions has control of a robot. You have to have like security measures set in place where certain things like we're mentioning before, OpenGPT, they actually have certain unethical questions that it won't answer, like how to hack this or how to hack that. It's just built in their actual programming. So
it's not as unbiased though as you think. Well, I don't know if you think it's unbiased, but I don't know if you saw the screenshot. Somebody was like, write a poem about Donald Trump.
I saw that.
And they were like, we can't be political. And then it was like, write a poem about Biden. And then he wrote like a
crazy, right?
Drop bars on Biden.
That's crazy.
So it just goes to show you that ChatGPT is not really an AI. It's still, as far as I'm concerned, it's like a super data processing thing. That's it.
Yeah, just machine learning.
That's it. Yeah.
Just giving it data, and it's just
it's pulling from data, right? Like if I added something new to the internet and they don't update it, it wouldn't know. For now, I don't think ChatGPT is gonna replace much. At this moment, I'm not too worried about ChatGPT. Now, if you're a BuzzFeed writer and you write articles for BuzzFeed, I would be concerned. If you are a scribe, which I don't even know if people use that, I would be concerned. You know what I mean? But the application for ChatGPT, like a really useful application, I think. Let's say you start in an office, right? It's your first day at the office as an accountant, right? They sit you down on the front desk. Well, you know how you normally have, this is Scott from accounting, blah blah. This is so and so. Well, ChatGPT is gonna be your personal assistant. I think ChatGPT can go the route of Siri, like a super jacked up Siri.
Yeah.
You go into the office, hey ChatGPT, how many workers are in my department? Give me the names of all the workers in my department. Oh, blah 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 blah. Oh, cool. Who's my director? Blah 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 blah. You know, things like that. I think it'll be useful for that. I don't see it doing, you know, commands. I don't see people going to ChatGPT yet to solve problems like war problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think eventually they'll get there. Because right now what it's using a lot of learning algorithms, but I think it'll get there eventually. And
do you want it to get there?
I mean, I don't mind, man. I'm like pro like technology, man.
I'm pro technology to an extent.
I
you know how you're pro. You know how we're pro. Well, I don't know if you're pro firearms. I'm pro firearms to an extent.
Yeah, same here.
I'm pro free speech to an extent. I don't think you can be free range of everything.
This is true, yeah.
And technology is one of those things, you know what I mean?
I think there has to be some security measures put in place that would make sure that, you know, humans would not, like, utilize it for, like, you know, unethical purposes. Because if you're able to, like, use ChatGPT to, I don't know, learn how to do certain things that, you know, are like, malicious, have malicious intent.
Yeah.
So it's, like, there's a bad part to it. So
I will say this though, a lot of people are concerned about automation. I used to be concerned about it. I'm not as concerned anymore. I'm still a little concerned, obviously, but I'm not as concerned anymore. Yaron Brooks, he's I don't know, he runs something called the School of Iran or something like that. He made a good point where he said there's more automation today than there was 100 years ago, let's say, right? I'm paraphrasing here. But there's also more jobs today than there were 100 years ago, right? Which is true, which is pretty interesting. Because, like, with automation and the development of new technologies, new industries, whole industries opened up, which required workers, which required re-skills. So I look forward to see what other industries open up as automation becomes more prevalent. It's like, if it, you know, I think he made a joke. It's like, well, some people still want the Iceman to have a job, and some people still want the Milkman to have a job. But yeah, man, that's it for this episode. I don't know if you have any issues.
No, yeah, that's it for this episode. Guys, just stay tuned. You know, we're still getting our bearings, and you know, we're trying to give you guys good content, and it's more about having just conversations about interesting stuff. Just current events, interesting things, you know, and eventually, you know, we'll have subject matter experts on as well.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to have subject matter experts, and don't worry, we will let them talk. You know,
there's still gonna be someone out there saying he's not an expert,
right? Or you disagree.
Yeah. He's not right.
What do you think? See, my goal for this one, I want to be like Pat David. Like if I look at all the podcasts, Lex Friedman, Joe Rogan, you know, all those podcasts, like the one I like the most is Pat David, because dude is money, man. Dude talks money.
Yeah. Not only that, I've noticed that whenever he brings someone on, like on his podcast, he lets them speak. He lets them, you know, talk about his point of view. He doesn't really, you know, like shut them off or cancel them or say, you know, get off my podcast. He has a very stoic approach to things, and I like that about him.
And I like the fact that he's like, okay, so what? I like that how he's like, okay, he tries to push back respectfully. Yeah. So like, okay, so you're pro taxes. So what do you say to somebody who, hey, I pay this many taxes, why should I pay more? What do you say to that? And I feel like that's such a good quality to have as an interviewer, where instead of like trying to like
convince them to your point of view,
or stunt on somebody or floss on them, it's like, okay, I see what you're saying. Not only do I see what you're saying, I can understand why you're saying that and why you think that would be a good idea. But what would you say to people who think this, and this? And they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think his approach on things is that he gives them a scenario and he puts them in that scenario.
But that's a CEO mindset. It's like, yo, we're going to do this.
What do you think about it?
What do you think about this? Or what do you say if this happens? How can we prepare for this? That's a CEO.
CEO.
But, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, all two of you. And look forward to hearing from you guys in the future.
Until next time.
Peace.